the 10 scariest roads in the US that are actually quite beautiful. Are you afraid of heights? Because we're starting off with the highest paved road in the US. Often thought to be Pikes Peak, it's actually Mount Evans Scenic Byway, although it only beats Pikes Peak by about 25 feet. This beautiful route winds you up to the summit of the 14,000-foot Mount Evans. Because it's so high up, car manufacturers use it to test their engineering in high altitude. This drive has been named one of the most scenic in the area, known for its sweeping curves and insane overlook views. Just keep in mind that it's only open from the end of May to the beginning of September, so plan your trip accordingly. And remember to gas up and bring plenty of water for the ride up. Next, the famous or infamous Tail of the Dragon. Often called one of the most dangerous roads for motorcyclists, that's not actually backed by data. Maybe it's because of the iconic things like the Tree of Shame or sensational YouTube titles, but also riders and sport car enthusiasts treating it like a track. One of the reasons it's considered the funnest roads for motorcyclists is its 318 curves in 11 miles. This iconic drive travels through the North Carolina-Tennessee state line, bordering the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. But as you can imagine, the narrow two-lane road and tight hairpin curves can be a recipe for accidents if you're not careful. When I rode the Tail, it was during the middle of the week in April on a rainy day. So I had the road all to myself. I stopped and ate some lunch, waited out the rain at the Deals Gap Motorcycle Resort, and had the road all to myself again, but this time dry and sunny. So if you ever do go to the Dragon, just make sure that you don't miss this stunning road not too far from it, Cherahalla Skyway, that some say is better than the Dragon, but I'll leave that up to you. Just hold on, let me tell you about it. The Dragon isn't all that scenic compared to Cherahalla. The Dragon is at about 1,800 feet elevation, and the Cherahalla goes up to about 5,000. For the Dragon, I'd say the fun is in the tight hairpin curves. For Cherahalla, with its big sweeping curves, the fun is in the views. So if you're scared of heights, this might not be one that you like. And just keep in mind that the high elevation can make it super chilly up there. And also, you won't have phone signal and there's no gas stations, so be prepared for that. This 41-mile road crosses through the Cherokee and Nantahala National Forests, which is how it's got its name, Cherahalla. It took 40 years to build and cost over $100 million, closer to $200 million in today's dollars. So if you prefer sweeping curves and nerve-wracking heights over tight turns, Cherahalla might be perfect for you. I don't know about you, but a road nicknamed Loneliest Highway in the US would make me nervous. Dalton Highway stretches 414 miles across desolate northern Alaska. Though the road was originally built to allow for construction of the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline in the 1970s, it is no ordinary highway. It's narrow, rough, steep, and mostly gravel, prone to clouds of dust, slick mud, and sudden potholes. There are 3 towns you'll intersect on the Dalton Highway, and with the amount of people in them, I don't know if we can even call them towns. The town of Coldfoot has a population of 34, Wiseman a population of 12, and Deadhorse a population of 25. All those 3 towns combined have less people than were at my wedding. Gas stations can be as far as 250 miles apart. In fact, from the midpoint, the town of Coldfoot, to the end of the road, Deadhorse, you won't find any restaurants, rest stops, hotels, or services of any kind over this 240-mile stretch. For the most part, this road is dominated by nature. So because of its isolation, you'll be sure to see some of the most beautiful Alaskan views. Another road nicknamed one of the loneliest roads in America is Highway 50 in Nevada. Sometimes called the Lincoln Highway, it was the first transcontinental highway in the United States, spanning a little more than 3,000 miles coast to coast from New York to California. Life magazine reporters used to warn readers not to risk traveling the road unless they are confident of their survival skills. In between the long, lonely strips of the Nevada portion of the highway, there are interesting and supposedly haunted historical landmarks to visit, including the site of Nevada's first gold discovery, Pony Express Trails, and many abandoned buildings. You'll also be able to enjoy amazing natural sights like Sand Mountain, one of Nevada's 3 singing sand dunes. Next up is the scariest bridge in the US, Chesapeake Bay Bridge. A 4.1-mile bridge connecting the eastern and western regions of Maryland. This bridge was the longest over-water steel structure at the time of the toll road's opening in the 1950s. 4 miles is quite a stretch to ride over open water with no escape to land. And that's if you can avoid the traffic that often bottlenecks this bridge in the summer. Occasionally, eastbound lanes will be converted to westbound lanes and vice versa to help with the flow of traffic. So there will be times when you come inches away from oncoming vehicles. If you'd rather not go above the water, you can ride below it on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, which will only take you about half an hour in the dimly lit tunnel pass. Next is the Palomar Mountain in San Diego, California. This 10.1-mile stretch has elevation-changing switchbacks that take you all the way up the mountainside, often absolutely packed with motorcycles. The entire drive will take you at least an hour and a half of crazy turns, and about 3/4 of the way up the mountain, you'll be above the cloud line. If you can stomach the ascent, you can enjoy the beautiful views and an observatory at the top. On your way, you'll pass through Palomar Mountain State Park and the Cleveland National Forest, so pack a picnic and your camera for this next road trip adventure. Skyline Drive is a beautiful drive through the Blue Ridge Mountains in the Shenandoah National Park. This road is over 100 miles of 500 twists and turns. If that's not enough, you'll also ride through 4 tunnels and pass 75 amazing overlooks. It's important to plan for fuel needs and food and water during this trek, as gas stations are only available at the park's 4 entrances and exits. You'll travel between 400 to 3,000 feet above sea level, so temperature fluctuations will also be a factor. If you prepare for the elements and the risks that come with remote riding, the views alone will more than make up for it. I've got another freaky bridge for you to check out, 7 Mile Bridge. Remember how the Chesapeake Bay Bridge is 4 miles over water? Well, this one is 7 miles, in case that wasn't obvious. The 7 Mile Bridge connects the middle of the Keys to the southernmost point of the country. It takes about 10 minutes to cross, going the speed limit. Travelers report that when heavy trucks roll by, you can feel the bridge bouncing up and down. And if you think that's terrifying, the original 7 Mile Bridge was only 20 feet wide, and you can see parts of it next to the new bridge. No one's allowed to drive on that anymore, but some portions are open to walking traffic. Possibly the hardest part about riding this road is the humidity and heat you can encounter in Florida. When I was there in the end of February, the humidity was so high, it totally zapped my energy. I fell asleep at 7 o'clock at night. But there will be no shortage of fun things to do in Key West, and Florida doesn't have helmet laws, so you could cool yourself off that way, but I do not recommend it. The next route is not for the faint of heart. Highway 16, otherwise known as the Grinder. This Texas highway is a 45-minute, 37-mile route that spans 7,000 feet elevation changes. Though the majority of the road is pretty calm, there is a section in the middle that takes the cake on scary motorcycle roads. The combination of elevation change, twisty turns, higher speeds, and poor road conditions can be challenging, to say the least. This is one of the roads that you have to pay attention to the road signs and be cautious. There are many decreasing radius turns that will take you by surprise and don't provide any escape routes. You know how a lot of YouTube motor instructors will warn about running wide in the corners? Yeah, pay attention to that here. Just try not to go full send, and like with all these scary roads, you'll be able to enjoy these beautiful views, including Texas skies and tree tunnels. And now I've got a bonus freaky road for you, Gilman Tunnels. This unique road is extremely beautiful, taking you through the gorgeous New Mexico desert along Highway 4 in the Jemez Mountains. You'll pass ominous rock cliffs, powerful waterfalls, and most notably, chilling tunnels carved into the mountains. The algorithm is watching you and thinks that you'll like this video next. Let me know down below which one it picked for you.